What's the tea? Welcome everyone to Trust and Trade, your weekly glimpse into hot topics in the world of antitrust and consumer protection.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the short podcast series sponsored by the Economics Committee, where we hope to give you the highlights of our latest programming. Your host is Gabriela Antonie, and joining us today is Andrea Rivers. Andrea Rivers is an antitrust associate at Axin, Veltrop, and Harkrider in New York City, where she focuses on both merger clearance with the antitrust agencies and civil antitrust litigation. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrea.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
This past September, you reported on a webinar hosted by the ABA Antitrust Law section about a web application on regression analysis designed by Professor Luke Froeb of Vanderbilt University, Owen Graduate School of Management.
That's right.
Great. So today I'd like to return to that topic. The increase in antitrust litigation and need for economic consultants has heightened the demand for regression analyses, and we would like to recap some of that program. So, Andrea, before we dive into the highlights of the program, can you provide an overview of what a regression analysis is?
Sure. So in economics, a regression is a commonly used statistical tool to demonstrate the relationship between two or more variables. There was a 2014 case, Reed Construction Data versus McGraw-Hill Companies, in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, where the court concluded that regression analysis is used widely in litigation to establish a causal link between misconduct and damages, particularly when direct evidence of harm is absent.
So how did the webinar describe this new tool to depict regression analyses?
So during the panel, Professor Froeb, who previously served as chief economist at the DOJ Antitrust Division, where he was overseeing the development of Competition Toolbox, he described that as a suite of web applications that make the models used by economists at the agencies accessible to lay people. So non-economists, non-attorneys, everyone can understand these tools. And in that webinar, Professor Froeb just demonstrated a specific web application from the toolbox where it can teach regression to virtually anyone.
This is fascinating, making a complex concept easy to everybody else. But in what sense is this web application simple to use?
Yeah, so he walked through how you can use the trial and standard error web application to overcome any dilemmas that you have within the antitrust community, because it really will eliminate the need for analytical overhead. Or, even me, I have like an economics degree and I probably would need some sort of refresher. So he said it gives you this ability to eliminate the need of even an economics course or econometrics course. He said that there's been a recent trend lately within the economics community of incentivizing positive results in research for economists' work to be published, and that's kind of escalated the concerns of validity of economic presentations. So with this tool, he suggested that attorneys and economic expert witnesses can work together and kind of demonstrate the methodology and assumptions that the expert witness made and could be forced to defend in court. So it's a tool where an attorney can prep an economic expert by having them use the application in real time to replicate the results and ask why they chose one methodology over another and whether that matters, and can really make sure that they have a solid foundation before they're going into litigation.
All those sound like very good reasons why we should all check it out. But in general, did Professor Froeb emphasize why the antitrust community should care and use this tool?
Yes, Professor Froeb, he sort of went through this reflection of his time at both the FTC and DOJ. And he noted that his biggest mistakes within his work there was poor communication between attorneys and economists. And he really suggested that everyone use the application, especially attorneys and economic expert witnesses, to demonstrate the methodology and assumptions that the expert witnesses make, and can be forced to defend in court. So he really said that it's something that will be helpful in presenting data in antitrust litigation and can really have an impact for jurors or judges and attorneys really trying to understand complex data.
Very helpful to know. Thank you for sharing this with us today, Andrea. And thank you everybody for joining us. A reminder that the audio and Andrea's write-up of the panel is actually available on the AABA website, and we will post the links in the podcast notes. In the meantime, stay safe, and we hope to see you soon.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Trust in Trade, brought to you as always by the Antitrust Law Section of the American Bar Association. Now you know that's the T.